Hey guys, just a quick message here. First of all, what a year we've had because we've accomplished so much in that amount of time. So I decided to make a compilation of my top 5 most viewed videos of this year. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you've all had a very awesome year. First, I mapped out where I wanted the bricks to go. Then I tiled the rest in gray. Next, I made the walls all white. Then I added a couch and TV. For minifigures, we have Spiderman, Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Electro, and the Sandman. And we are done with our mock for Spider-Man No Way Home. Let me know what you guys think, and make sure to subscribe. I am going to be making a scene from every Spider-Man film. Let's get into it. First, I made this custom 18 by 18 base plate, and I covered the floor with unique patterning to make it look kinda old like the movie. I also added in some leaves to make it look like they're growing in, like the movie. Next, I added in a custom brick-built wall that's just about falling apart. And I added in another leaf to continue the detail on the floor. Next, I added a bridge with 1x2s for the floor to make it look like it's really falling apart. Then, for a little extra detail, I decided to put some wood on the floor from that very unsafe bridge. For minifigures, we have Spider-Man, whose suit is unfortunately not damaged, and the Green Goblin, but not this Green Goblin, we need a better one. So let's take that and put in this Green Goblin. I took the Vulture's suit and it looks so much better. Then we just put the minifigures in their correct positions. And our set is done. Let me know what you think about this. I am very proud of it, but something's missing. That's more like it. So I brought back my old 18 by 18 custom base plate, and like last time, I started off with the floor, but this time I had a little more trial and error, but eventually I got it right. Then I built up a nice big wall which I attached on the edge. For minifigures, we have Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus. The first thing I did was put Doc Ock on the floor, then I put on Spider-Man sticking to the wall. Finally, to keep this build from looking plain, I decided to add gold coins scattered around. And we are done with our bank heist scene build. Like last time, I started off with the floor, and for this one, I decided to put sand in more of the center of the floor for the Sandman, and the rest of the floor just normal. Next, I put in dark blue, or sand blue, I'm really not sure, walls throughout the build, and it actually ended up looking a lot better than I thought it would. And I also put in a window, because there is a window in this scene. I also realized it would look better if I put on some flat gray tiles on top. Next, I included the minifigures Sandman and Spider-Man. And for a little decoration, I decided to add some money on the floor. And we are done with our Spider-Man 3 scene. This will probably be the simplest build of the entire series. All I really have to do is build a sidewalk and a road. And then just place down a taxi. For minifigures, we have Kurt Connors turning into the Lizard, and a taxi driver. And we are done with our mock. I know it doesn't look like a lot on the outside, but when you look in the inside, you can see Kurt about to turn into the lizard. First, I started by adding similar detail to the floor, kinda like in the movie. Next, I added 4 of those electric pole things from the movie, and I know, they are a little short. Finally, I added the minifigures, which are Electro and Spider-Man. And we are done with the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I started by making the city from high above, but the water was definitely the most difficult part. I had to do a couple retries. For minifigures, we have the Vulture and Spider-Man, and I placed those two above the build. And we are done with our build from Spider-Man Homecoming. The first thing I had to do was cover the base entirely with white to make snow. Then I added 3 tombstones. And for minifigures, we have Miles Morales and Peter B. Parker. And we are finished with our mock for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. First, I put in mostly green around the base to try and give it the kind of gas feel from Mysterio's illusion. Then I put gray around the outside of the illusion, and added Iron Man's gravestone. For minifigures, we have Spider-Man, Mysterio, and Zombie Iron Man. And we are done with our mock for Spider-Man Far From Home. First, I mapped out where I wanted the bricks to go. Then I tiled the rest in gray. Next, I made the walls all white. Then I added a couch and TV. For minifigures, we have Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Electro, and the Sandman. And we are done with our mock for Spider-Man No Way Home. So basically the only thing I had to do for this mock was cover the entire floor in black tiles. For minifigures, we have Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Gwen, Peter B. Parker, Spider-Man, 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 and Spider-Man. And we are done with our final mock of this 10-part series. Let me know what you guys think, and make sure to subscribe. This is my LEGO display. It has appeared in the past in certain videos before, but then I started to think this display is garbage, so I'm going to change it now. So for the police station, I decided to include these 3 cops here, because I plan to replace the police station later on. But, as you can see, all the minifigures on the Daily Bugle and Sanctum Sanctorum are gone. And I put those minifigures on the table. And as I set up my minifigures on display, I immediately did notice that most of them are all Spider-Man related. Not all of them, but most of them, which, I mean, that makes sense, really. And after a little bit of time, we had all our minifigures all set up and ready for display. Our first minifigure is the Hulk, and he's gonna be holding this taxi on display. I used two 1x2 transparent pieces and one of those other transparent pieces, which is how Hulk is holding the taxi right now. I replaced classic Sandman with this more creepier Sandman because, let's be honest, this looks way cooler. I decided to also replace Firestar with Iron Man instead to have him flying over the Daily Bugle. Another replacement I made was with Green Goblin. I decided to have No Way Home Green Goblin instead, crashing out of the Daily Bugle. I also added MJ falling and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man rushing in to save her, just like No Way Home. Then I added this little web connected to Sandman's hammer, leading up to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, trying to stop Electro from escaping by creating this very big web line. Next I added Doc Ock above Green Goblin and, with Tom Holland's Spider-Man now on his glider, and the little box from Spider-Man No Way Home. Then behind Electro, I put Ned chasing the Hobgoblin, and fun fact, they're actually the same people. Then on the side of the Sanctum Sanctorum, I put Venom and Carnage having a little fight with each other. Next, on the Sanctum Sanctorum, I put in Spider-Man 2099, Miles Morales, and Spider-Gwen fighting each other as a little reference to Across the Spider-Verse. Then in an alley in the Sanctum Sanctorum, I put Ant-Man traveling in time from Avengers Endgame. Then on the side of the Daily Bugle, I added Doctor Strange using a portal to help stop Electro. Then I added yet another Spider-Man, this time he's driving the Spider-Mobile. Then I added Daredevil attacking Morbius, who's trying to go for the box, and right there you can see J. Jonah Jameson with webbing on his mouth. And finally, at the very top, we have the amazing Spider-Ham. We now have the new LEGO display. I'm very proud of this, and I hope to continue more work on it later on. Subscribe. In this video, I am going to find out the exact number of how many DC minifigures do I own. First, I started up by counting all of my Batman minifigures. And by the end, I had a total of 27 Batman minifigures. And we're just getting started. Next, I counted up every Batman villain. Which added up to a total of 72 minifigures. Next, I counted up every other DC hero that I had. And I ended up with 109 minifigures. Finally, I added up the last few villains that I had, and it brought the total right up to 121 minifigures. Now this isn't the exact amount because I have some minifigures that I need for customs and some are just in pieces, so I'm going to round it up to 130 minifigures. Subscribe. In this video, I am going to be making Full House in LEGO. But first, we have to rewind back to what started this. It was mid-2023. I was in my room, thinking, and I was thinking about how LEGO has made sets for sitcoms like Seinfeld, Friends, but they never made a sitcom about Full House. So I decided it was time to stop waiting for LEGO and just do it myself. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go onto the internet and just see if we have any competition. Okay, so I've taken a look and I've decided how we're gonna make this set. One, I am not gonna build the outside of the house, just the inside, and we're gonna give it plenty of space. It's gonna be the living room and the kitchen. That's the plan. We're gonna make that and hopefully it'll turn out okay. Okay, so I was going through how many pieces I have and I do not have enough. Alright, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go onto Bricklink and order a lot of Lego pieces that I need for the Full House set. I also printed out some pictures here of the Full House, the living room, and the kitchen, so I have reference and I just won't have to stare at a screen the whole time. And now it's time for the minifigures. For Jesse Katsopoulos, I gave him black pants, Luke Skywalker's torso with sleeves, Bruce Wayne's head, and Bruce Banner's hair, and his guitar as an accessory. For Danny Tanner, I gave him black pants, Bruce Wayne's tuxedo, Superman's face, Superman's hair, and a microphone as an accessory. For Joey Gladstone, I used Joker's legs and torso without gloves, Robin's head, and Jerry Seinfeld's hairpiece, and scissors as an accessory. For DJ Tanner, I used Daphne's pants, the Conservationist torso, Daphne's head, and Daphne's hair. For Stephanie Tanner, I used Robin's legs, Betty Brant's torso with sleeves, Princess Leia's head, and Gwen Stacy's hair. For Michelle Tanner, I used an Ugnaughts legs, Finn's torso, Rescue's head, and Dr. Harleen Quinzel's hair. For Rebecca Donaldson, I used the Fairy Captain's pants, Velma's torso, Betty Brant's head, and Captain Carter's hair. For Kimmy Gibbler, I used a police officer's pants, Crazy Quilt's torso, Hawkgirl's head, and Mira's hairpiece. And an accessory we'll talk about later. For Steve Hale, I used Bruce Wayne's pants, Peter Parker's torso, Robin's head, and Finn's hair. And a sandwich as an accessory. For Nikki Katsopoulos, I got another Ugnaughts pants, Mr. Freeze's torso, Robin's head, and Luke Skywalker's hair. And finally, for Alex Katsopoulos, I got another Ugnaughts pants, a snowboarder's torso, Robin's head, and Luke Skywalker's hair. So in total, this set has 11 minifigures. And while this was happening, I was spending money on Lego piece after Lego piece. It was crazy. So it is now December and I have drawn up an estimate for how long and wide I want the set to be. Oh man, I hope you guys can read all this stuff. Okay, so the estimate drawings kind of stink. So we're just gonna go ahead and build this thing already. The first thing I did is I actually used my horribly drawn estimates and built up a 72 by 32 foundation. Then I set my bags all around my chair and I was ready to build. First, I started with the entrance to the house. I started off by making the stairs and some foundation to the door. I also started making a little bit of the floor as well. Then I worked on the staircase and the alcove. And the alcove was difficult because there are like stairs and slopes and books. But I wasn't gonna let stairs, slopes, or books get in my way. And it did take more than one attempt, and it was very difficult to get the books inside the drawers, but I pulled through and I did it. Then I worked a little more on the floor, adding a little bit of the rug, and I decided to work on the entrance to the kitchen and the fireplace, which I decided to connect into the wall. And I decided to start working on the kitchen as well. First I made the door, which took a few attempts, but one thing that took a lot of attempts was the fridge and some of the kitchen equipment. That one was hard, but I was able to figure something out. Next I put on some of the floor and put the kitchen island inside, and it turned out pretty good actually. Eventually though, I just went back to the living room, and I had to work on the window on the front. That one was hard. It had like a certain angle. It took many attempts, but it worked out well in the end. I also decided to work on the doors, many attempts as well. I tried red at first and putting brown pieces on. It just didn't work the way I wanted it to, so I just went with just brown in the end. I also added in other details as well. Then I was able to add more floor to the living room because I ran out of pieces. I was also able to add more to the wall of the living room and add more floor to the kitchen. I also added in some more wall for the staircase and some more detail to the windows. Anyway, back in the kitchen, I had to include the other entrance from the living room to the kitchen, and this was so hard that I was so upset. It was very hard to make, but eventually I was able to figure it out and finally get past it. But it was still fun to build in the ending, and I was able to add more of the wall as well, and more floor to the kitchen, which ended up being enough to finish the floor actually. I put in the carpet and the rest of the floor, then came the stairs. Luckily, I had a plan for this. So I originally wanted to use this slope piece in this color, which Lego doesn't actually make. So I made a custom 4x12, which I will be putting inside the stairs. I also thought it would be nice to tile off the back. But then I ran into a problem. You're probably wondering how is one to build a couch like that? Okay, can we please stop with the jump scares? I actually used Bro Thor's couch as reference for this. Then I got my white and blue bags, sat myself down, got my instruction booklet, and started to study. And a little while later, we had our couch. And after that, I started to include more and more details to really make the set look like Full House. We are so close to finishing the Full House set. One thing remains though, stickers. And I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let's go! It's finally done, everyone. A giant Full House mock. So I tried to estimate how many pieces this set actually has, and it's not 100% accurate, but I think it's around 4,000 pieces. So if this set actually sold for like 10 cents a piece, this would literally cost $400. But I think it's also time for us to take a closer look at this Lego set and see what references there are to certain episodes. Starting with this key in the door is a reference to Season 3, Episode 15, Lust in the Dust, where Jesse loses his keys. Next is that sticker from earlier. It's actually a sticker of Jeff Franklin, the creator of Full House. This sticker is a reference to a picture the cast took for Season 5. This sticker is actually the picture that was taken in Season 2, Episode 9, our very first Christmas show. This sticker was actually also taken from Season 2, but it's just for Season 2. This sticker right here was, I'm pretty sure, for Season 6. Two of these stickers are references to San Francisco, which is where Full House is located, and the middle sticker is a picture of the outside of the Full House house. Then in the alcove, there is a record disc labeled Forever. This is a reference to Season 4, Episode 19, The Wedding Part 2. And Season 5, Episode 26, Captain Video Part 2, and Season 6, Episode 3, Road to Tokyo. Then on the TV, there's a picture of the Wolfman from Season 2, Episode 16, Baby Love. And then just in the fireplace, you can see Joey's $50 million winning lottery ticket from Season 7, Episode 19, Love on the Rocks. I also decided to add Comet to this LEGO set, and you could say this is a reference to Season 3, Episode 7, and they call it Puppy Love, or various episodes about Comet. Moving on into the kitchen, we have Vanilla Weasels from Season 8, Episode 13, The Producer. I also added in the burnt up turkey from Season 1, Episode 9, The Miracle of Thanksgiving. Then we have a picture that was made for, pretty sure, Season 8. And the award Joey got after he was vindicated after 4 long months in Season 5, Episode 23, Five's a Crowd. Then we have 2 pictures right here. The first picture is a reference to when Jesse and Joey get their advertising job from Season 2, Episode 5, Jingle, I'm gonna say Heck. And the second picture is with DJ and Steve, more referencing just Season 6. And if you remember Kimmy's accessory from earlier, this is a reference to Season 8, Episode 19, Taking the Plunge, where we are introduced to Kimmy's boyfriend, Dwayne. Alright, so we have at least 3 references left. The first 2 are with this car, which is a custom Bullet, or Walter, whichever one you want to name it. And this is of course a reference to the Full House intro in the beginning. And it's also a reference to Season 1, Episode 11, The Big 3-0. And you can fit all 6 minifigures in here, the 6 characters who fit into this car. You can fit all of them in, which is very cool. And I'm going to show you the third reference now, and it's pretty awesome. So first I made a function where this part of the wall can come out a little easier with this special type of slope piece. Then I set the car into position and BOOM! And that right there is a reference to Season 3, Episode 20, Honey, I Broke the House. But the final reference of this video is the date of this video's release, September 22nd, which also just so happens to be the day Full House first aired all the way back in 1987. And some of the things that I think make Full House special is the fun, the family, and the heartfelt scenes. And it's only fair that we close this video off with a heartfelt scene.